Stage 1. The decision. You don't decide to leave overnight. You decide over years. You decide the first time the power goes out for 3 days and nobody comes to fix it. You decide when your cousin's visa application is rejected for the 4th time and he laughs about it at dinner because laughing is easier than the alternative. You decide when you watch the man who runs the government on television talking about progress and development, and you look around the room and nothing in the room matches anything he is saying. But the specific day, the day you stop deciding and start planning, is a Tuesday in March. Your younger brother got a job. Government job? The kind everyone waits years for. He came home with the letter, and your mother cooked the good rice, and your father said a prayer that lasted 20 minutes. And you sat at that table and you felt something specific looking at your brother's face. You felt the ceiling, not your ceiling his. The job will pay him enough to rent a room and eat and send a little home, and that will be his life for 30 years. Then retirement. Then whatever comes after. And he will be grateful for all of it. Because in this country, a government job is the best possible outcome, and the best possible outcome is not enough. You are 24 years old. You have a degree nobody has called you about. You have a ceiling you can see from where you're sitting. You eat the good rice. You go to your room. You start making a list. Stage 2, the money. It takes 14 months to save enough. You don't tell your parents. Your mother would cry. Your father would say the things fathers say when they understand what their children are really telling them and cannot bear to understand it. You tell your cousin Kofi because Kofi tried twice before and knows the numbers. The numbers are specific. $3,000 to get from Accra to Agadez in Niger, the gateway city, the place where the desert routes begin. Another $800 for the Sahara crossing. Then, Libya. Libya is the part Kofi doesn't talk about in specifics. He says, budget $2,000 for Libya, maybe more. Don't ask what for. You work, you save, you sell the phone your uncle gave you for Christmas, and buy a cheaper one and put the difference in an envelope under your mattress. You skip lunches. You take extra shifts at the printing shop where you work 6 days a week doing work that has nothing to do with your degree. 14 months. You count the envelope on a Sunday night and it's enough. You go to see a man your cousin knows. He works out of a shop that sells mobile phone credits on the surface and other things behind the counter. You don't give him your real name. He doesn't ask for it. He gives you a phone number and a date and a city in Niger and tells you to memorize all 3 and burn the paper. You burn the paper. You go home. You look at your brother asleep in the next bed. You don't wake him. Stage 3, the road. The bus from Accra to Agadez takes 4 days. You have a bag with 3 changes of clothes, 2 liters of water, bread, and the envelope of cash divided into 3 hidden places on your body the way Kofi told you to divide it. You have a phone with 1 number saved and a SIM you'll throw away when you cross the first border. The bus is full. You don't know everyone, but you understand everyone, the specific look of people who have made the same calculation you made and arrived at the same answer. You don't talk much. You sleep in shifts. At the borders, you pay small amounts to men in uniforms who wave you through without looking at your face. Niger is flat and hot, and the sky is the biggest sky you have ever seen. In Agadez, the streets smell like dust and diesel. Men sit outside tea shops watching the buses arrive with the specific patience of people who live in a city where arrivals are the main event. A man finds you before you find him. This is how it works. You are visibly someone who has just arrived and is looking for something. He introduces himself by a name that is probably not his name. He is calm, professional. He explains what the crossing will cost, how long it will take, what you should bring. He says it the way a contractor explains a job. You pay the first installment. He says 3 days. Stage 4, the desert. The truck leaves before dawn. 23 people in the back. You sit with your knees against the person in front of you and the person behind you pressed against your back. The truck bed is metal, and the metal is cold before sunrise. And then the sun rises, and the metal becomes something else. The Sahara is not what you expected. You expected sand. There is sand. But there is also rock and wind and a silence so complete it has a texture. The horizon is the same in every direction. After 6 hours, you have no idea which way you came from or which way you're going. Only the driver knows. You have decided to trust the driver because the only alternative to trusting the driver is a level of fear your body cannot sustain for the number of hours this will take. You run out of water on the second day. The driver has water, but it costs more than the agreed price. You pay it, everyone pays it. This is the part Kofi meant when he said budget for Libya, maybe more. On the third night, a woman, 2 people to your left, becomes very still in a way that is not sleep. You watch the people around her understand what the stillness means. Nobody speaks. In the morning, the driver stops, and 4 men get out and do what needs to be done, and you drive on. You don't write this in any message. You don't have words for it yet. You file it in a place in your mind that you can feel but cannot open. The truck reaches the Libyan border on day 4. You are alive. That is the whole sentence. Stage 5. Libya. Libya is the part that takes the longest and costs the most, and that you will spend the rest of your life not describing in detail to people who ask about the journey. You spend 4 months in a city on the coast. You stay in a building with 60 other people from 7 countries. You sleep on a concrete floor with a blanket that is not enough but is what there is. The men who run the building take your remaining money on the first day. They say it is for food and accommodation. The food comes once a day. It is enough to keep you functional. You work to rebuild the money for the boat, carrying things, cleaning things, tasks that don't have names in the language you speak. You work alongside men from Sudan and Eritrea and Mali, and you learn words in languages you didn't know existed, and they learn words in yours, and you build a specific kind of friendship, the friendship of people with no options. In common, except forward. There are men in this city who will hurt you if you cross certain streets or look at certain things too long. You learn the streets. You learn what not to look at. You learn the geography of danger the way you learn any geography, one mistake at a time, then memory. At night, you lie on the concrete and you think about the good rice. You think about your brother's face when he opened the letter. You think about the ceiling. You think, not yet. Stage 6, the boat. There are 112 people on a boat designed for 40. You know this because you count. Counting is something your mind does now automatically exits, distances, numbers of people, available resources. Your mind has become a machine that calculates survival without being asked to. The crossing to Italy takes 3 days if everything goes right. The engine dies after 18 hours. You sit in a rubber boat in the Mediterranean with 111 other people, and the water around you is very dark and very calm, and the sky above you is full of stars that you would find beautiful if you were not calculating how long a person can survive in open water, and whether the answer is longer than the time before someone finds you. A Coast Guard vessel finds you at 4 a.m. on the second night. Italian. The men on board lower ropes and help people up one by one. A man in an orange vest takes your arm when you reach the side. You try to climb, but your legs are not working correctly. He pulls. You come up over the edge and your feet touch the metal deck and you sit down immediately because your legs decide without asking you. You sit on the deck of an Italian Coast Guard vessel in the Mediterranean. You are breathing. You look at the water. You look away. Stage 7, the waiting. The camp in Sicily has rows of white tents and fluorescent lights that run all night. You are given a number, not a name, a number. The number goes on a form. The form goes into a system. The system will take months to produce an outcome. In the meantime, you are here. This tent, this cot, this fluorescent light at 3 a.m. You learn the rules quickly. Line for food at 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Interviews with caseworkers on Thursdays. Medical appointments on request. Wait time, 2 to 3 weeks. A phone charging station that works most of the time. A small library with books in Italian. You are beginning slowly, with a dictionary someone left to understand. The days are long in a way that is different from any long day you have had before. Long in the desert has urgency. Long at sea has terror. Long in the camp has something else, a specific texture of suspension. You are not in danger and you are not safe. You are between. The system is deciding whether you exist somewhere. You write to your mother on a Thursday. You say you are okay. You say you are safe. You say the food is fine and the people are kind, which is partly true. She writes back in 3 days. She says your brother got promoted. She says your father asks about you at dinner every night. She says come home when you can. You read this 4 times. You don't write back for a week because you don't have the right words, and you've learned that the wrong words cost more than silence. Stage 8, the after. Asylum granted. 14 months after the boat. You are in Turin now. A room in a shared apartment. 3 other men. 1 bathroom. A kitchen with a hot plate, and a window that faces a courtyard. Your caseworker helped you find it. The rent takes most of what the government allowance provides. The rest goes to food. You have a library card. You have a beginner Italian class on Tuesdays and Thursdays at a community center 6 blocks away. The teacher is a woman named Julia who speaks slowly and clearly and never makes you feel the gap between what you're trying to say and what comes out. Some days Turin is the most beautiful city you have ever seen, the mountains visible from certain streets on clear days. The coffee in small cups at the bar on the corner, where the owner has learned your usual order without being told. The specific light in October that comes at an angle you've never seen anywhere else. Some days you sit in your room and you think about the woman who became still in the back of the truck. You think about the concrete floor in Libya. You think about your mother's handwriting on a phone screen. You have her number saved. You call on Sundays. The call costs money you can manage if you're careful. She asks if you're eating. You say yes. She says your father sends his love. You say send mine back. After you hang up, you sit with the phone in your hand for a while. You are 26 years old. You have a library card, and a Tuesday class, and a coffee order, and a ceiling you cannot yet see. That last part, that's the whole reason. That's what the good rice was for. That's what the truck in the desert and the concrete floor and the boat and 14 months of a number instead of a name were for. A ceiling you cannot yet see. You don't know what's up there. For the first time in your life, you don't know.